This week on Stubby Bolt Garage, I get the sniffles. I missed 3 days this week. Just disappeared. Day 4 and 5, I kind of stumbled out here. I got the motor out. We take the 50 steps backwards, but right there, the car says, "Hi." Stay tuned. Okay, folks. It's been a couple days. I've been actually on the shelf for a couple days. I got some, as you could probably tell, some sinus thing going on, and kind of sidelined me. Missed a couple days from work, but I kind of got tired just sitting around watching YouTube and who knows what. So I came out here and I puttered around a little bit. I believe I have everything up here disconnected, ready to go. And I do got the motor mounts. They're buried underneath there. I do got the motor mounts undone. And I got the starter out. And I got the bell housing bolts on this side disconnected. This side is a work in progress. I got to redo. I got to take off all the linkage for the shifter. And, well, I forgot a plier. And I don't feel like crawling back underneath there. So, but I got the linkage, which is almost off. The kickdown bar is out, and I got 2 bell housing bolts, and then I got the 3 or 4 on the converter, and then she should be good to go to come out. And and then I gotta dig out the other motor mounts, the old ones, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do from there. But I've already decided I gotta take this back off when I get the motor out. I'm gonna take this back off. I gotta fix this little chrome piece because it's not right there, right chair. It's not, doesn't look right, and this is just a nightmare to take off and do, especially when you're like standing on this side and then you go on that side and you can't reach the middle. It's just, I'll fix it again when I get the motor out. And apparently one of the brake lines I did over there is leaking because it's pretty wet down there on the floor. And then while I was also down there, I gotta take the exhaust off. I still gotta do that. Speaking of exhaust, on that side, I tacked up a pipe, but I never welded it. So, I'm gonna have to take that pipe off. Hopefully the slip joint that I left in there further back a little bit will slip back out. So I can't believe that I didn't weld it up. I had it out of the car. Oh well, we'll get it. And then what else? We gotta check the brake line because apparently one's leaking. It's all wet down there. I mean, it could have been when it dripped, but we'll double check. And when the motor is out, I think I'll redo those brake lines again. I'll have room this time because this won't be here and I can stand right there. And then What else? What else? Oh, I gotta tidy up some wiring because I believe this wire right here, and I gotta check the wiring harness, but I believe this one is supposed to go to my coil, and it is way over here. So I gotta untape all this. I bought this. I bought it off of eBay, but I forgot. It's not Dennis Carpenter. I forgot who. This whole wiring harness was pretty crispy. The one that actually went across the motor, that one was just super crispy. That was extra well done. So I picked up this wiring harness, and it's factory coated, factory colored, and it has all the right connections on it. And I don't know, it was 50, 60 bucks. Plugged right in. It was perfect. But I believe that one goes to my coil, which, as you can tell, is right over there. So I gotta untape all that. And then I took off this hood hinge because that was a pain in the ass to work around. And then I've decided that I'm going to get a new harmonic balancer. I don't know how old that thing is. I'm going to get a new one because I don't know how old that one is. So, and I never really looked at it. Maybe I'll buzz off the pulleys. I should probably take the pulleys off before I take the motor out because I bent them the last time. And so I gotta get one of them. That's after the holiday thing to buy. And then I am gonna swap out this intake. A couple reasons. A, I don't feel like cutting a hole in my hood. I can't decide on what kind of hood scoop I want. What I would like, I don't know if you guys have seen them. I'll try to find a picture and I'll clip it in right here. Is I would like the hood scoop or the hood to look like a 66 Fairlane GT. Sure, I could get a Boss style Mustang scoop. I guess it would look okay, but I really love Fairlanes, and that 66 GT, that long scooped hood, I just think looks badass. The front ends of the Fairlane and the Galaxy are close. As far as I know, the hoods aren't interchangeable. And I wouldn't even know how much a GT hood would be. This is full size. The Fairlane that year was a mid-size, so I don't think they're interchangeable. But I would like a scoop to kinda look like that. That's what I want. Anything else is just, I don't want it. I don't want a teardrop. That's played out. I don't like the look of a teardrop, so I'm not going that way. So, quick story. This is the first intake that I've ever bought. It is a Weiland Stealth. Insert numbers here. At the time, we were in the middle of the thing that we can't talk about on YouTube that locked everything down. The Great Plague of 2019-2020. At the time, I had the money for an intake, and I wanted an intake because I had a factory one. That thing weighs about 2 tons. This was the only intake that I could get that was not on back order for a 460/429. This was it. This was my only option. Everything else, I don't care who the brand was, what website, it didn't matter. Everything else was on back order. And there was no date given. So I was just like, okay, yeah. I'll run I don't, it's my first intake. I don't have a horse in the race. I prefer Holley carburetors. This is a Wyland made by Holley. It's perfect. I got it. I wish it came with all the plugs, and I wish it came with that for the water tube, that little hose right there. Not the hose, but the doodad that the hose is connected to that screws into the intake. It did not come with that, and that took me months to find something like that to fit. Because the one that you could buy from Holley / Wheelan was on back order, so I had to source one. Now we're like 4 years, almost 5 years from all of that nonsense. I can now get an Edelbrock RPM Performer. This is a mid-rise. Edelbrock is basically a low one, and it's aluminum of the cast iron factory intake. So if I get an Edelbrock intake, I won't have to cut a hole in my hood, because everything, along with when we fix the motor mount issue and settle this thing down about an inch, should cure my hood clearance problems, which saves me a ton of time, because then I ain't gotta cut a hole in my hood and figure out all that nonsense. So after the holidays, I will be getting a new intake. This intake, I'll put it on my Cougar, because I believe I will put that thing back together. We'll get there when we get there. That'll be my next project after this. I'll use this intake on the 460 for the Cougar. I don't mind cutting a hole in the hood of the Cougar, and a Boss Mustang hood scoop would look pretty fine on the Cougar. So we'll save this for the Cougar, and I think that's it. It's like 4 o'clock. I'm a little sore. I'm hungry. I gotta go find a cough drop and some more flu medicines, and then I don't know, we'll debate on whether or not I go into work tomorrow, which for me will be a complete shit show. So I don't know. We'll see. But we're getting there. I got, I don't know, 30 minutes of work, and then we'll get the engine stand in here. I gotta go with no chain, and I'm afraid, I hope I have enough. I don't have a lot of space. I don't have a lot of head space. When I put the motor and transmission back in, I didn't have the car jacked up. And I don't feel like teetering with the car and getting this thing up in the air and putting the wheels back down on the ground. I just don't feel like doing that. So I think if I go with no chain, go directly to hook on the end of the cherry picker, I don't have to go up too far. I just gotta be able to clear that with that. And I want to measure this first. I want to see. Alright. We'll go with the center of the bolt. So we're at 7, we'll say 7¼ inches. That's how high the front of the motor is. So I gotta get at least an inch down, and I got oh, you know, I got space. All right, I think that's enough for tonight. We're gonna call it a night. A little tired. All right, we will come back later. Peace. Well, it came out way easier than I thought it was going to come out. Thank God, because I really didn't feel like fighting with it. I'm still not 100, but what would make life easier was a level concrete floor. Like, I gotta fight with these cracks and that massive gator of a hole over there now. But it's up. Alright, there's a look at the motor mount. We'll take them off, and then I'll set this down somewhere. I don't know where I'm putting it. I gotta find it. I don't feel like mucking around with the engine stand, but I might have to go get it. Well, for now, that's where she's gonna sit. I just took a lot for me to get this out today. When you can't breathe, you can't do shit. Anyway, here's the new motor mounts that were on there that I thought were too thick. And they are, where's my tape measure? Alright, got my tape measure. And they are 1.5 inches thick. So these are the new ones. And I found the old ones. The new ones used to have this. But this actually bumps it out against the block a little bit. These aren't 460 motor mounts. These are 352s, which that was the motor that was in this wagon originally. So only the top two bolt up on the block. This bottom hole was way off. So to make it sit a little bit flush, I cut them off on this. As you can see by my hackery. But they were on the original. But as you can see, they too are 1.5 inches, although it does taper just a little bit. I don't know, was that a 16th maybe? If that, barely. We're probably in millimeter land, and I don't feel like digging that out. So, and I believe that I have the correct motor mount, because on the side it says 2241, made in Korea, PH, and over here 2241. So I know I got the right style. It's just it's got to sit down a little bit. And then I was looking at the purchase. I didn't take them out. I left them in the whole time. What I can't remember is, well, I think on the guy who did the motor swap originally, because I didn't do this, and me, I think we're both hitting that second hole. So I think we're both using the same hole, but it's got to go down just you know, 3/4 of an inch. I gotta get her down 3/4. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Somewheres I bought Bronco motor mounts that are to fit a 460 in a, you know, first gen Bronco. I bought them. I was going to use them, but they're solid mount. They're not, you know, they're not rubber or whatever this is trying to be. So I didn't want to go with them. So I gotta find them, because I put them back in the box. I don't know where I put them. Maybe we measured them up. I want to say they were, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I choose not to go with them because they were thicker than these. And I just thought that they were not going to work. But because they're all metal, I can cut them up and weld them. I mean, that'd be really testing the limits of my welding ability, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I'd rather cut them up than that. I'm going to have to dig through my pile of parts from the Cougar, because the Cougar came with a 460. It did not have this style of motor mount. The frame doesn't even have those little purchases that I remember. I mean, it could. It's been a long time since I tore that car apart. I'm going to have to dig through stuff and see, but like, I didn't leave the motor mounts on the block, so yeah. Maybe I'll look them up on Rock Auto, see what they look like, and then we'll go from there. All right. I think we'll call this one good, and hopefully this weekend I start feeling a little bit better, and with a clearer mind I'll be able to figure out what we're going to do, because I don't want to leave this thing torn apart long. I want to hurry up, get this done, put it back in, and then get back to where I was just 2 weeks ago and getting this thing back running. Like, I was getting ready to tear apart the rear and run a new gas line, because that's what I wanted to do, and then bleed the brakes. Finally, I know I've said I want to bleed them lots, but I was going to bleed them and then fire it up, and then figure out what I was going to do for the fan shroud, because I'm leaning towards making one. So I want to get back to that point, because this is kind of, depressing right here. All of the work that I've done basically all summer is, I just undone it. So, all right.